This is Nico Robin, my little sweetheart. We're gonna be performing a neurological exam on her. It's not a physical exam, it's to assess if there's a neurological problem and to see where it is and the severity of it. So first we're just gonna observe her mentation as she's kind of walking around, and just go over a brief history. She hasn't had any medical emergencies or problems or anything like that. She does have FIV, but that's about the only thing that's going on. So during this part of the exam, we can also assess her gait and posture. As we can see, she's just kind of doing her own thing. Doesn't present with any limps or lameness. She doesn't walk in any circles, so her gait is looking pretty good, not getting stuck in any corners. Does exactly what she pleases to do. As far as her posture, she has an upright head, her tail is upright, no lameness in any part of her body at all. So during this second part of the exam, we're going to be checking Robin's cranial nerves. We're going to be looking at her facial symmetry, her eyes, her eyelids, her muscles of mastation, and her curvatures of the lips, just to make sure everything's looking normal and symmetrical, so there's not anything that's out of place or looking the way it shouldn't be. We'll also check her eyes, just to make sure that she's having the proper menace response, as well as palpebral reflex. We're also going to be checking her pupillary light reflex, just to make sure that everything's looking symmetrical on each side. So she's eating, so I'm going to grab her food. We're going to check her face real quick for symmetry. As you can see, we're not seeing anything out of the ordinary right now. We can check her eyes for any nystagmus, any strabismus, and just anything that is out of ordinary. So she should have some physiological nystagmus every time we turn her head to the left. And as we can see, everything's present and looking good with her. As far as her menace response, we can go ahead and check that right now. So as you see, she's seeing that pretty well. We'll check it from this side. Same thing, she's doing pretty well for that one. As far as palpebral response, it's there. She's just pretty stubborn. But yeah, that looks good. So when we're checking her eyes, we want to do a direct and indirect pupillary light reflex, just to make sure each side is looking symmetrical. So we'll start with this side. We'll look at her eyes. Not seeing anything. We can look at this side. And then we can do both eyes. And everything's looking good with her. So the next test we're going to be doing is going to be testing her proprioception, just to make sure that she is aware of her limbs in space. She knows where she's at. So we'll start that by changing her posture up a little bit, making her hop around, making sure that she's aware of what's going on. So let's grab her right here. So a big one would be to just bend this back leg a little bit. Okay, would just be to bend this back leg, just to make sure that she can correct that herself. And then same thing with the front. As you can see, she's very moves very well on her own. So as far as hopping, she does that pretty well as well. As far as back feet, she's kind of mad, so she's not gonna do as much, but what we should be looking for is them hopping on their own leg and supporting their own weight, kind of like that. There we go. Okay, so next we'll be checking her spinal cord reflexes. It's best if they are in lateral for this. We want to first start off by checking her their withdraw and patellar reflex, just to make sure that everything's looking good. She's already trying to get away, so let me grab her. Now, ideally, when you're performing these exams, you don't want them moving around as much as she is. She's just getting kind of mad. I know. So we can put little Miss Robin in lateral. Might be kind of hard to do the patella reflex, but as you see, that withdrawal is definitely there. So we're just gonna be using the edge of my other phone just to hit her patella a little bit, just to get that reflex going. Don't want to do anything too hard. Just kind of softly. I know. Just like that. That's what we're looking for right there. And then we can move on to the next part. The next part of the spinal cord reflex part is just to check her muscle symmetry, making sure everything's looking normal on her, making sure nothing's out of place, seeing if there's any pain. I know she is very mad right now, but as far as me always petting her at home and touching her back, she doesn't seem to ever be in much pain. And as we can see, the way she's jumping around, she wouldn't be jumping around like that if she was in much pain. So I'm finding everything symmetrical on her, nothing out of place. You want to try to move their cervical spine as well, just to make sure there's no pain up there, as well as around the tail, just to make sure nothing's injured, or you want to cover every basis just to make sure nothing's wrong. And if there is suspected pain on the back, you want to move towards that area instead of away. So if her pain was up here, I would start down here and slowly move my way up to that area instead of starting there, just because we want to see if they are in pain, and starting in that area can lessen that effect. So the final step is to evaluate nociception, so pain, feeling, anything like that. Typically, if all motor movements are there and everything's looking functional prior to this part of the exam, we won't actually do this part just because it is kind of mean and hurts the animal, as we are applying manual pain. But it is a great way to assess whether they still have a deep feeling or if they are still feeling superficial stuff as well. So for Robin, she did very well today. As far as everything that we looked at her, did they have any concerns or abnormalities? So we're not gonna do the deep pain part. We're just gonna kind of pinch her a little bit as far as superficial, just to make sure that she has some feeling. But as far as what we've seen in the exam, she does have a lot of feeling. So we'll go ahead and do that part right now. So yeah, after palpating the spine, make sure everything's looking good. On that part, we can go ahead and do the nociception. So we're not gonna actually do anything on her just because she did very well today. But basically what you would do is you would take a hemostatic forceps and you would clamp part of their tail or in between their legs, just to make sure that they have that deep feeling. For Robin, we're just gonna do a little pinch between her toes. As you can see, she does not like that. But it is showing that she has that feeling and she has that nociception that we're looking for. So everything is looking great for her today.